Good morning. This morning we're going to try to make sausage and butter noodles from a recipe I got from Jackie, a girl I grew up with a long time ago. I talked to her on Facebook. She got it from some internet site, but I don't recall the name. So these are kind of our ingredients in raw form. We have a half a head of cabbage, an onion. This is supposed to be 12 ounces of sausage. I think that's 14. And I got it from Ralph's or Kroger, whatever. 2/3 of a cup of frozen peas, the butter noodles, some garlic, as you see. And then I'm adding 2 pretty good size habaneros because I like food spicy. You'll also need some, a little bit of butter, olive oil, of course salt and pepper, and I'll be using cayenne pepper. So I'm going to prep everything and I'll be back. Making the cabbage and noodles dish. The first requirement in the directions is to cook the noodles as per the package. So I'm boiling some water for that purpose, and I will just grab the noodles. I'm doing this all with one hand because I'm holding the phone. And this is a 12-ounce package of noodles going into the water, or most of them went into the water. Damn it. There we are. Stir them up a little bit. Let that come back to a boil. Put the lid on. I salted the water. I don't know if I make a lot of pasta. I always salt the water. I'm not sure about butter noodles, but can't hurt. Salt's good. The next thing is to heat up some olive oil in a saucepan. So I'm going to use my stainless steel skillet and start cooking. So for cooking, I want to show all the ingredients prepped. There's the cabbage, the sausage, onion, garlic. And by the way, that's a lot more garlic than the recipe calls for. It calls for, I think, a clove. That's like 4 or 5 cloves. I like garlic. And approximately 2/3 a cup of frozen peas. So we're going to start cooking off the sausage. Okay, the recipe doesn't call for this, but once I cooked off the sausages as directed, there's a lot of brown bits in the bottom of the pan. So I took the sausages out, and I'm going to deglaze the pan with a little bit of chicken stock. Okay, as per the rules, I've added the onion, the butter, a little bit more olive oil, and I added some diced up habanero. And of course there's some chicken stock in the bottom of the pan because I used it to deglaze the pan, which is not in the rules. But so we're going to cook this down for about 5 minutes. At this point I've added the cabbage and garlic, and this is going to have to cook down for about 15 minutes. That's my timer, just a sec. 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm assuming this is going to cook down much like spinach does. I haven't cooked much with cabbage. If it doesn't, we're going to have to switch pots to something larger before we put in the noodles. But anyway, this is what it looks like with the cabbage in it. And I'm going to cover it, and we'll see what happens. Well, we had to switch pans to the cast iron. This is a high-sided cast iron, by the way, that I got from my sister. She got it from Mom, and Mom got it from her mother. And then I sent it to Ohio to be dated, and it was made in the late 1800s. And Mom said that her father probably paid like 25 to 50 cents for it. It's a very good high-sided cast iron pan, as you can see, from Warner. Anyway, the butter noodles are in here, and they're warming up, and I've tasted the concoction. It is awesome. It's very hot. The recipe calls for adding some salt. I'd be careful. I salted the noodles, and I sort of salted everything as I went along here. I did not use salted butter as the recipe calls for because I don't have any salted butter. I only have unsalted butter. But I want to plate it up here shortly for the last step in this. It looks so here we are. It's done. The noodles are cooked. And I put up a portion for me to take and eat in front of the TV because it's almost noon here. Well, it's 11:35. And there's a lot of football on Saturday, and a lot of it's already recorded, which is one of the nice things about living on the West Coast. And so I'm going to go have this for breakfast/lunch, and I'll report back on its